This assignment's going to be solve quadratic equations with complex solutions. All right, we're going to use our old friend, the quadratic formula, which you can find right here. All right, so this is something we have done before, and by we, I mean not we, I mean you have done before in Algebra 1. So we're thinking way back, our quadratic formula is this. You can also find this on the classroom wall in here. If you're one of the students in here, it's in the bright green square. All right, how are we going to do this? All right, so let's work through it. You notice quadratic formula, the opposite of b, plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You don't have to memorize that. You may have to memorize such a thing on the SAT, though. So it's not a bad idea to commit this to memory, but it's not necessary for this class. All right, what are all these letters? What's A, B, and C? All right, so if we think back, that coefficient is A. That coefficient is B. That coefficient is C. The term with x squared is A. The term with the x is B. The constant term, the number by itself, is C. All right, and then we're going to substitute all these into the equation. All right, so the first part of it is the opposite of B. The opposite of B is negative 9. If B was negative, we would put positive 9. Square root, B squared. All right, so what's B squared? Be very careful on these. If for some reason your B is negative, you want to be sure that the result of squaring that is positive. Be careful. Minus 4 times A. I always like to use parentheses. Times C. Just filling in the formula. All over 2 times A. Over here, I'm going to reduce everything. I'm going to simplify. All right, so negative 9. In order to simplify all this, I have to follow the order of operations. So I have to do what's under the square root first. I have to multiply everything together first. So I'm going to start with 9 squared. All right, 9 squared is 81. The next thing we want to do is this whole group together. We don't want to subtract 4 first. All right, order of operations, parentheses, and then exponents, and then multiply. All right, so here we go. 4 times 3 times 17. 4 times 3 times 17. Let's pull up our calculator. All right, 4 times 3 times 17, 204. If I would have got a negative answer there, which might happen sometimes, remember, if the answer had been negative, I would have to write it out this way because of this subtraction sign. And that would then change it to plus. Be careful. Warning. All right, on the bottom, that is 6. All right, let's keep going. Negative 9 plus or minus square root of 81 minus 204, right? Here we go. 81 minus 204, negative 123. Aha! We end up with a negative under a square root, which is what we've been talking about. All right, so if we have a negative under a square root, what does that tell us? What kind of answer are we going to have? Well, it better be one of these two. Because if this is negative, that tells us it must be imaginary. It has to be. It can't be one of these two real answer choices. All right, so let's kind of erase some of this stuff here. Can't be A, can't be B. Next, I want you to notice the first option, or the first part of these two choices. This says positive 3 over 2. This one says negative 3 over 2. If we notice negative 9 over 6, if I separate the quadratic formula, which I can, into two separate fractions, I end up with this. And then I can reduce this, which turns into negative 3 over 2. That tells me choice C is wrong, choice D is correct, and we're on our way. All right, if you also notice under here, square root of 123 cannot be simplified, right? That was part of the simplifying square roots assignment we did this week. This cannot be simplified, but this side can. So work it out, take your time, use your quadratic formula. You can use this for the quiz. Might not hurt to commit to memory for the SAT though.